Hey, what's up, guys? I know we were working with the algebra class for a few days there, just because we had a little review of completing the square, but I just wanted to kind of bring you back to where we were at before we took that little detour. We're back on our own today, okay? Essentially, we were looking at the equations of circles in standard form, and we said the equations of circles in standard form look something like this. We said it was x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Okay? Where hk was your center and r was your radius, right? So we said pretty much looking at something like this, like say number 8 here. We could say, well, this would be x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared is equal to 36, right? So what do we find out? Your center was at 0, 0, and your radius would be the square root of 36, which would be 6. Okay, so we said pretty much the only thing we had to remember was to reverse the numbers, right? So here, for number 10, it would be 2, positive 6. Okay, 2, positive 6, positive 2, positive 6. Reverse the signs of these numbers. So for number 10, for center, we'll be to reverse these two numbers, 2, 6, and we said we had to take the square root of this number, and your radius was equal to, well, the square root of 49, last I checked, was 7. Yes? Good. For number 12, sorry, I'm writing kind of sideways here. For number 12, your center would be 5, 1, right? Just flip the signs of those numbers and take the square root of the last one. Good? So I think most of you guys had a pretty easy time with that, like once we got the ball rolling and things like that. What we have to talk about today is why we were talking about perfect squares. And if you couldn't tell, that's a perfect square right there. That is a perfect square right there. So the reason we had to take a look at reviewing perfect squares is in order to make these equations when they're not in a form like this. So let's take number 11 as our example. Let's kind of take a look at how this could look. Well, it was x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 16. Now, if it's in this form, don't take it out of this form, but I just want to show you what it could look like, right? Well, this is really x minus 4 times x minus 4. And this is really y minus 3 times y minus 3, and that's equal to 16. Well, we could first, outer, inner, last, right? And if you remember the pattern, that's the square of the first one, the square of the second one, and then 2 times they're combined. But if not, again, first, outer, inner, last. So if we really wanted to, and then we can, 16 and 9, last I checked, makes 25, right? So x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 6y plus 25 is equal to 16, right? And if we wanted to, we could move 25 over to the other side. And what can we say? We can say that x squared minus 8x plus y squared minus 6y is equal to negative 9. Now, why would you want to put it in this form? I don't know. The thing is this. Knowing the standard form, we can very easily look at this and say, hey, this is the equation of a circle. Looking at this over here, it's not quite as crystal clear, okay? Now, also, when it's in standard form, we know where the center is, we know where the radius is. That's all you need to know to draw a circle. You know, where's the middle? How far away does the circle have to be from the center, right? In this form, and this doesn't tell us anything. This is junk, right? This is junk. We need to get it into this form. So what we're going to talk about today is kind of reversing this process to get back to here. And essentially what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to complete the square 2 times, okay? So don't be too worried about this. It's not. If you were okay with completing the square, which hopefully you are, because you know you passed algebra. This shouldn't be too much of a big deal. So I'm going to go over a few examples today. I'll give you guys a few to do, and we're going to take a few days to go over this. This is probably one of the more complicated, kind of involved things we do. Most of geometry is pretty straightforward. This is not quite as much. But anyway, so we're going to follow our protocol for completing the square. We're just going to do it 2 times, once for x and once for y. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples. So say I was given, I got a x squared. Oh, whoa. No. Student connect activity. This is your student connect activity. Let's try that one more time. I have x squared plus y squared plus 8x minus 2y is equal to 64. So how do I know that this is a circle? Well, right off the bat, I see an x squared and I see a y squared, right? I also see an 8x and a negative 2y. So I have a squared and a term with an exponent of 1, okay, and it's equal to 64, okay? The first thing you want to do is you want to rewrite this almost as 2 problems on one side. I'm going to give my x stuff together. I kind of give you a little break here, plus my y stuff together. Okay, so all I really did here, and leave some space there because we're going to have to complete the square. All I really did here was kind of rearrange this problem and spread it out a little bit, okay? Again, we're going to have to create a perfect square for the x's and a perfect square for the y's like we were doing last week, okay? So leave yourself in the, because we need a new, C term, if you will, right? So again, I need a new term here and a new term here. I need some constants there. Again, whatever we add here also has to get added over here, okay? So, same thing we were doing. Right, it was b over 2 squared. In other words, take this number, divide it by 2, and square it. 8 over 2 is 4, and 4 squared is 16. So I need to add a 16 here, but if I add 16 here, I also got to add 16 here, right? For this one, same thing. I need to take b squared over 2. Now, again, it's not really b anymore because this is no longer a quadratic, but again, I think most of you guys are familiar with that form, okay? So take this number, divide it by 2, and square it. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 squared is positive 1. Be careful with that. Negative times negative is positive. Now, if I added 1, let's go ahead and let's add 1 over here as well, okay? So, again, if you are so inclined, you can write this next up. We're not going to write it for all of them because we now know that this is a perfect square over here. We now know that this is a perfect square over here. And 64 plus 16 plus 1 is very conveniently 81, okay, which is nice because that's a perfect square. So again, let's complete the square here. What do we got here? I'm taking the square root of the first one, the sine of the second one, square root of the third one. Square root of the first one, sine of the second one, square root of the third one. And there you go. There's your equation of the circle. Okay, so we took this kind of mess up here and put it in a usable form by completing the square. So again, your center is at -4, +1. Don't forget to flip those signs, right? And your radius is not 81. Your radius is the square root of 81, right? Because this is r squared, right? So it's not 81, it's the square root of 81, right? So again, if we go back to our example, what's not 81? This is your radius squared is 9 squared, a squared, b squared, and c squared. In this case, 9 squared will be 81. Okay? So again, like I said, if you're okay with completing the square, the only thing we're really doing is just kind of splitting this thing in half and moving things here, okay? We're going to do the same thing, though. Sometimes if we had some constants on this side, we'll move them over to the other side, and we'll take a look at a few of those, okay? So, got to write them down. So let's say we had x squared plus y squared plus 6y plus 24x is equal to -137. All right, so again, what are we going to have to do over here? Let's start by rewriting these. Let's write our x's together. x squared and 24x. Kind of leaving a space. Let's write our y's together. Y squared plus 6y is equal to negative 137. Okay? All right, over here, again, 24 over 2 squared. 24 over 2 is 12. 12 squared is 144. 24 divided by 2 squared. 24 divided by 2 squared. So I'm adding 144 here. I'm add 144 here. Okay? Again, if you were worried that was negative, it just went away. Okay? So again, 6 divided by 2 squared. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So add 9. I'm going to add 9 here as well. All right. So again, I'll rewrite these down here again. We don't. For a lot of you guys, we're going to go straight to factored form in a few minutes. Well, 137 plus 44 is going to be 7 plus 9 would be 16. Again, very conveniently a perfect square over here. So again, now let's write this in standard form. Square root of that one, sine to that one, square root of that one. Plus square root of that one, sine to that one, square root of that one. Okay, there you go. So again, your center will be what? Negative 12, negative 3. Don't forget you have to flip those signs. Okay, and your radius, again, not 16, most common mistake, and will be answer number 1 on your regions. Okay, your radius is going to be 4. Okay, don't forget to take the square root of that number. Okay. By the way, I've mentioned your regions. I don't know what's going on with your regions, but important thing to keep in mind, this will be a question on your regions. I can guarantee it. Guarantee this will be a question on your regions, okay? Every year, okay? All right. We'll do a few more, and then we'll call it. How are we doing on time here? All right, we're only 12 minutes. That's fine, okay? So, then x squared plus y squared plus 14x minus 12y plus 4 is equal to 0. First thing, move the constant over to the other side. Move this over to the other side. Don't even worry about that right now. Okay? If you're feeling kind of, bold, you can try and do it with it over there. Move it over to the other side, just like yesterday and the day before with completing the square, we're moving that number right over to the other side. Okay? So any constants over to the other side. If you take a look at our last 2 examples, we didn't have any constants on this side, so that's the one little wrinkle in this problem, okay? While we're at it, let's rewrite this with our x's first and our y's second. And let's leave a nice amount of space, okay? A little squiggle there, okay? So again, 14 over 2 squared, well, 14 over 2 is 7. 7 squared is 49. So I'm going to add 49 here. But again, if I add 49 here, I'm adding 49 over here. Okay. On this side, negative 12 over 2 squared. Negative 12 over 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is going to be 36. Again, if I'm going to add 36 here, I got to add 36 over here. Okay. X squared plus 14x plus 49 plus y squared minus 12y plus 36 is equal to, well, what is that? It's 45, 45, and 36. 45 and 36 is going to, oh, look at that. It's going to be 81 again. Okay. Good. Okay, it's like they set these up this way, okay? All right, so again, for this one, we got kind of 2 separate equations here. I'm saying square root, sine, square root. Square root, sine, square root. Okay? So again, square root of y squared is y. The sine of this number is negative. The square root of this number. Okay? And again, your center is going to be negative 7, positive 6. Flip the signs like we were doing the other day. And your radius is 9. Okay, don't forget 2. So again, flip that number, make sure you take the square root of this number. All right, let's make it a little more complicated. X squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 24y is equal to negative 120. Okay, so again, we have no constants on this side to move. X squared plus 2x plus y squared minus 24y is equal to negative 120. Okay, again, 2 over 2 squared. 2 over 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. Over here, negative 24 over 2 squared. Negative 24 over 2 is going to be negative 12, and negative 12 squared is going to be 144. And again, if I'm adding 144 here, I'm adding 144 here. Okay, so again, x squared plus 2x plus 1. If you're okay going straight to perfect square form here, you go right ahead and do that. Y squared minus 24y plus 144. Negative 20 plus 1 plus 144 is going to be 25. Again, very conveniently a perfect square. What's this? Square root of this one, sine of this one, square root of this one. Square root of this one, sine of this one, square root of this one. Oops, to 12 power minute. Okay? Sorry about that. So again, your center is going to be negative 1, positive 12, and your radius is going to be equal to 5. All right, got 2 more for you here. These are going to be a little bit uglier, but that's okay. There's nothing we can't handle. Okay, x squared plus 2x plus y squared is equal to 55 plus 10y. Okay. All right, the first thing obviously is, yes, we have all the constants on this side, but the y is over here. Same way we would always move it. Let's subtract 10y from here, subtract 10y from here. Okay, I'm not going to assign you guys any of this complicated on your homework. We'll worry about those over the next few days. So again, what do I got? X squared plus 2x, leave yourself a space, y squared minus 10y. 10y is equal to 55. Again, if you don't know by now, this is going to be 1. 2 divided by 2 squared. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. Okay? And over on the other side, negative 10 over 2 squared is going to be equal to, well, 10 over 2, last I checked, was negative 5. Negative 5 squared is going to be 25. Right? Let's write that out. Negative 5 squared is 25. Okay? Again, I'm adding 25 here. I'm also going to add 25 here. Okay? And again, what do I get? X squared plus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 10y plus 25. 55 plus 1 plus 25 is, again, very conveniently 81. Okay? So again, square root, sine, square root, sine, square root, 81. So your center is going to be at negative 1, 5, and your radius is going to, again, equal 9. Okay? So one more, and then I'll set you guys loose. Again, this one's going to be not so lovely looking, but that's okay. 8x plus 32y plus y squared is equal to negative 263 minus x squared. Okay? So again, what do we got to do? We got to move the x's over to the other side. Move the x squareds over, yeah? Okay? And while we're at it, let's rewrite this in the form we want. So we got the x squared, we got an 8x, we're going to y squared 32y, and that's going to equal negative 263. So again, while you're at it, while you're doing it, what Professor Gain used to call housekeeping, let's do a little housekeeping while we're at it. Let's move some things around, okay? So 8 divided by 2 squared, that's going to be 4 squared, which is 16. So adding 16 here, and I'm adding 16 here, okay? On the other side, 32 over 2 squared, that's 16 squared, which is 256. Use your calculator if you have to. Okay? Adding 256 to both sides. Okay? Okay. Again, what are we going to get here? I believe we're going to get 9. And so again, we got negative 263 plus 16 plus 256 is 9. Yes, very good. Okay. So again, what do we got? X squared plus 8x plus 16 plus y squared plus 32y plus 256 is equal to 9. Okay. Again, for this one, square root sine square root plus square root sine square root is equal to 9. So again, center is negative 4, negative 16, right? Because they're both positive. We have to flip the signs. And over here, your radius is equal to 3. Don't forget to take the square of that number. Okay. So again, I'm going to assign you guys some straightforward ones. They're going to be multiple choice questions from old regions. I'll post those tonight. Take a look, and good luck to you. Send questions if you got them. Thanks.